34 points. Great series for him as far as that's concerned, especially considering he didn't shoot very well. Russell Westbrook averaged 37.5 per game, 10.9 rebounds per game, and 11.7 assists per game for Russ. Also led his team in steals with 2.5 per game. Just a great performance. And he led his team in turnovers with 6. Great performance, though, overall for Russell Westbrook. It's unfortunate that everybody can't win sometimes. Nene, the leading rebounder for the Rockets, not really a big surprise there. Only 7 per game. James Harden just 6.6 assists per game. Nothing like what his usual self is. How about Roberson, averaging 3.5 blocks a game? Capella 2.6, but 3.5 for Roberson. Great series there, really, defensively. And Westbrook wins the turnover battle. He averages 6 per game. Harden only 5.6 per game, so you got to give the nod to Westbrook there. Let's see, the Rockets average 112 points per game in the series, 104 for the Thunder. Rebounding, a slight edge for the Rockets, nothing too big. Assists, actually, a slight edge for the Thunder. I would expect to see that change a little bit here in the second round for the Houston Rockets. Poor shooting for Houston. Honestly, they actually shot worse from downtown than did Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City shot 31%, 28% for Houston. They did hit free throws, though, at 80% clip, whereas just 69% of the Thunder free throws went in. I definitely expect to see more assists and a higher three-point percentage against the Spurs in round 2. I'll say that for sure. That 16 assists is 9 less than their season average, and 8 percentage points lower on the 3-point field goals. All right, let's go back to... All right, the last series in round 1 of the West. We have the number 2 seed San Antonio Spurs and the number 7 seed Memphis Grizzlies. San Antonio wins the series in 6 games, 4 games to 2, obviously. They kick ass games 1 and 2, hold Memphis to 82 points, both of those games. At home, Memphis picks it up in games 3 and 4. Game 4 going to overtime. Marc Gasol hits a game-winning jump shot with 0.7 seconds left to win that one by 2. They win by 11 in game 3. Conley has a very, very good series. Kawhi Leonard has a fucking incredible series for sure. Game 5, go back to San Diego. Pretty dominant performance by the Spurs. They win 116-103. And then Game 7 in Memphis. Memphis pretty much leads the entire game and is up by, 6 points, I think, in the fourth quarter. And Kawhi scores 8 straight points to give San Antonio the lead. Kawhi doing some MJ shit, it feels like. Truthfully. I'm not just making that up. Truthfully, it feels like that. To take the lead, they win by 7 points. Kawhi with 29, Tony Parker with 27 in that game. Kind of already talked about it. I'd like to see some more scoring out of San Antonio before I would, claim from somebody other than Kawhi Leonard on a consistent basis before I think that they can beat Golden State. But last year, I was just the opposite. I actually thought that they probably could or possibly would beat Golden State. This year, I can't say the same. Kawhi, though, averages 31.3 points per game in the first round, 7.4 assists for him, 2 steals also added to that, and shoots 96.6% from the line. What a performance there. 24.8 for Mike Conley. The rebounding matchup goes to Zebo, 7 per game to Zach Randolph. The leader for the Spurs, 3.8 for LaMarcus Aldridge. Obviously, you want to see more from that. Conley, the 24.8 points. Along with that, he's going to give you 8.2 assists per game and 1.8 steals per game. Him and Kawhi statistically kind of just going at it here. Other than that, Patty Mills shoots 54% from downtown. That's pretty good. Marc Gasol shoots almost 94% from the line. In the series, Spurs average 104.7 points. That's about the same as their season average. Hold the Grizz to 96.3. That's 4 less than their season average. 5 more rebounds per game for the Spurs. That definitely just spread around a little bit. 2 more assists for the Grizz, though. How about that? Not much inside presence for either team somehow. Andre Roberson for the Thunder averaged more blocks per game than the entire Grizzlies team, and he averaged just under as many blocks per game as the Spurs did during this series. So you'd like to see a better inside presence for them. Also, not a whole lot of steals. Each of them 5 steals a game. Definitely a slow down, chill type of a pace. Both teams shoot well from downtown, though. 41% for San Antonio, 39% for the Grizz. And both teams great as free throw shooting. 83% as a team for the Spurs, and how about 87% as a team for the Grizz? So the Spurs going on. All right, let's take a look at that matchup here. All right, round 2 of the other game in the Western Conference semifinals. We have the number 2 seed San Antonio Spurs, the number 3 seed Houston Rockets. We talked about it earlier today on the Daily Wager. An in-state Texas rivalry. As I said, I have in my NBA Weekly and have had for a couple of months. I have had the Houston Rockets actually ranked higher than the San Antonio Spurs. I think I had them at 3 and 4 respectively. As far as the power rankings go, I think that this one could be an upset special here. Basically, if the Rockets shoot well, they space well, James Harden has a big series. I think that they'll probably win the series in 7 games. If that's not the case, if they have a little bit more difficulty, if Kawhi can get somebody to average 23 to 27 a game while he puts up, his monster numbers, I think that bodes to where San Antonio would look favorable in 7 games. Either way, I think this series goes to 7 games. This will be the most fun series to watch probably in the second round of the playoffs. I would say so. And that's going to start tonight on TNT, 7:30 p.m. All right, let's move on to the Eastern Conference. We'll start with the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, Boston Celtics, taking on the number 8 seed, Chi-Town Chicago Bulls. Jordan! This series was a tale of 2 series, really. The first 2 games, Rajon Rondo played. The last 4 games, he did not, and that was pretty telling as to how this went. Game 1 in Boston, Chicago wins 106-102 with a late 8-0 run to seal it. Butler has 30 points, Rondo 12 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, a block, and plays some pretty damn good defense on Isaiah Thomas. He does get 33 points, but still ends up being a domination in the game. Game 2. Chicago again dominates. They dominate this time, 111-97 in Boston. Rajon Rondo, 11 points, 14 assists, 9 rebounds, 5 steals. Great performance there for Rondo, and a ton of Bulls scoring, 22 for Wade, 22 for Butler. Just 24 Isaiah Thomas in this one. Really, really poor performance there for the Celtics. In this game, somewhere in the third quarter, allegedly, Rajon Rondo breaks his thumb and continues to play in the game. We don't know that his thumb's broken for 2 days afterwards, and they kind of keep it up in the air, lingering whether or not he can play or whether or not he's going to be able to come back this series or what's going to happen exactly. It turned out he didn't play another game in the series. Turned out it was all skeptically up in the air every game, and it never happened again. The tides then shift as we move to Chicago. So Chicago wins 2 on the road. We go back to Chicago. Game 3, Boston wins 104-87. 34 assists on 41 field goals for the Celts. Great performance, all-around team performance in that one. Just 16 for Isaiah, but everybody kind of chips in and scores a little bit. No great scoring performances for Chicago. Dwayne Wade leads the way with 18 as they muster just 87. Game 4, pretty similar type of game in this one. Boston wins 104-95 this time. They get 33 out of Isaiah, 18 out of Green, who started. Jimmy Butler with 33 points. Not a lot of help otherwise, and they muster just 95 in that one. Game 5, we're back in Boston here. Boston still looks good with no Rajon Rondo on the floor. They win 108-97 in this one. They outscore the Bulls 29-16 in the fourth quarter. They were down by 2 heading into the fourth quarter. They win by 11 in this one. 3 scorers above 20 for the Celts. And then Game 6, back in Chicago. Without Rondo again, the Celtics win 105-83. They never trail in the game. They lead by as many as 30 points in what is a rout. The last 4 games of the series, without Rondo, they fail to hit 100 points even one time. Twice they fail to hit 90. And have a really, really poor offensive output in these. So, let's take a look at the overall stats for the series. A great win, a great get punched in the mouth and comeback win for the Celtics. Isaiah Thomas averages 23 points per game for the series. Jimmy Butler on the other side leads the Chicago Bulls at 22.8. Rondo, the leading rebounder in the series, 10 per game. Also the leading assist man at 8.5 per game. That's actually tied with Al Horford. 8.5 assists. He had a pretty damn good series as well. Once Rondo was out, he wasn't... They were huge. When Rondo was playing, they were big. They were huge at every position. And he was looking like he was kind of getting lit up by Robin Lopez at first, and then even Mirotic at times. Kind of a tough series, but he bounced back and played well. 6.5 rebounds a game for him, too. Steals, Rondo, 3.5 steals per game. I mean, he was just a nightmare to deal with for them. Let's see, where else are we looking here? Anything else popping out at me? Not really. The Celtics average 103 points per game, 5 less than they did in the regular season. The Bulls, 96 per game. That's going to be 6 less than they did in the regular season. Rebounding advantage, like I said, the Bulls were really, really big. They out-rebound them by almost 8 per game. They average about the same that they did in the regular season, 46 per game. And the Celtics 3 less than they do in the regular season at 39 in this one. The assists pretty heavily for the Celtics, a lot like what we saw with Golden State. 27 assists per game. That's how they were able to have everybody score and end up overcoming the size differences there. No team shot particularly well from downtown. 34% for the Celtics, just 30% for the Bulls. All right. So the Celtics are going to move on. They're going to play the winner of this series. We have the number 4, Washington Wizards, and the number 5, Atlanta Hawks. Pretty big series here for John Wall. The Wizards jump out to a 2-0 lead. They win the first game 114-107. John Wall with 32 and 14. Pretty dominant performance there in that one. Game 2, Bradley Beal scores 31 points, 16 of which are going to come in the fourth quarter. They win 109-101 to take a 2-0 lead. They did look pretty good, though. Atlanta didn't look bad in either of those games. As you can tell, they were both pretty close, 7 points and 8 points there. They played pretty well. Dennis Schroeder looked fantastic. We go back to Atlanta. They win 116-98. They never trail, lead by as many as 25. They take game 3 there. Game 4, Dwight Howard has a pretty big day, pretty big Dwight Howard-ish day, 16 points, 15 rebounds, and they win game 4 at home, 111-101. A great team effort there. Paul Millsap plays fantastic, dominates. Game 5, we're back in Washington, and a great home team. Whether or not you've heard me say that a bazillion times or not, they win 103-99 in a game where it was pretty back and forth, and it looked like they actually could lose. I think that they maybe really got outplayed. If I had to guess, I would say they got outplayed, but they ended up doing enough at the very end to win, including a John Wall jump shot to seal it as the last basket made in the game. And then game 6 back in Atlanta, people kind of on the Atlanta wagon thinking that they would push it to a game 7, myself, not too impartially included. Washington goes on a big, second half. They win 115-99. John Wall with 42 points. just 8 assists. Woo. 19 of those points coming in the fourth quarter, though.